What's up, everybody? Welcome to your Self-Helpless snack, where we give you a little taste of the Self-Helpless podcast with a mini episode. Today, I'm sharing a bite from a conversation I had with Danielle Hayden, who is a former corporate CFO and CEO of Kickstart Accounting, where she helps business owners with bookkeeping, financial analysis, and education. And this is part of a conversation that I originally shared with my email list, the D List, which is a free list that you can join at my website, delaniefischer.com, where I like to share different resources and media opportunities, gigs I hear about, stuff like that. So you can go check that out on my website if you'd like to join. And I just have to say, as a client of Kickstart Accounting, oh, and by the way, they're not sponsoring this episode or anything. I'm just a big fan of their service, and I've been with them for years now. They have helped me organize my finances and understand my numbers and just make better business decisions, helping me utilize this data. And when I first started my business, I was 26. I think I was 26 or around that age. I was just an absolute mess, keeping receipts and random drawers in my dining area, using Word docs to keep track of my expenses, and just feeling very lost with all this stuff. And, I slowly worked my way up into, first getting an accounting software, then, bookkeeper, then a financial advisor. But there are so many options in between having zero help with your finances and having a team and different programs and stuff. So if you are right now feeling very overwhelmed in this area, please know that there are simple solutions and simple tips for you. And so Danielle is sharing some very simple ways to keep your finances organized, especially if you have multiple streams of revenue, or you're starting a side hustle, or maybe you're at the beginning of entrepreneurship. So this tip is very helpful for multi-hyphenates tuning in, but the mindset piece that she talks about is very helpful for everybody. So get your spoon ready and scoop it up, because here's your snack. If somebody is not in a place where maybe they have the means to have an entire, finance team yet, they're just starting out, what are their very first steps that they can take just to kind of get organized and kind of knowing their numbers?
First step is make sure that your business and your personal expenses are completely separate. So before you do anything, and if you get nothing from this call, go open up a business checking account and do not put another personal expense in your business. Period. Same thing with your credit card, right? Like, you might not be able to get business credit today, but you can have two personal cards, one that's for business and one that's for personal, and keep them separate. That is your first step as a beginner, because when you go to get bookkeeping help, it'll be really clear and organized for them to be able to get that information into a bookkeeping system. If you're working with a tax accountant, they can really easily pull that information into your tax return. If you're not ready for a full-on accounting system, it allows at least for the organization to be able to be pulled into a system later.
Oh my God, I love that tip about even if you just can get two different cards. I know from myself that once I actually started getting organized and delegating to other people and asking for help, it kind of had this effect where I was taking things more seriously. And then I started making more money. People have that mindset of, when I make more money, that's when I'll get my finance team together. Can you speak a little bit about that mindset, and what can we do about that if somebody is stuck in that?
Yeah. So this is an interesting one, because I had no idea when we first started the business, about the mindset piece of this, right? So I had no idea. And it was really, really powerful as we started to work with entrepreneurs over the last few years, that people would say to me, "Oh my God, growth suddenly feels possible." Like, I had one woman who told me, "I didn't even know I needed you. I knew I needed you just from I had to file my tax return at the end of the year, but I had no idea all the other reasons why I needed this," because it completely shifted my mindset. Growth feels possible. I know where I'm making money and spending money, so I can pivot my business. I love this story. We had one client who came to us a few years ago, and she asked me to take a look at her business and help her understand, where's my money going, right? I see all this money coming in, but I don't understand why there's no cash in my checking account. Common problem for business owners. And so we did what we call a catch up. We brought in all of her transactions into the QuickBooks system. And we helped her understand where she was making money and where she was spending money. Now, she thought that she had a loss. So she thought she was going into the next year with a loss. However, the problem was that she was structured as an LLC. And so she was taking an owner's draw. So she didn't understand why her business was showing a profit, but yet there was no cash in the checking account. And those are two separate reports. And the IRS looks at them separately. I won't go into too much accounting detail there. But what changed for her in the mindset when she came into the next year, she said, hold on, I'm not losing money. I'm making money. And so what is my goal for this year? My goal is to grow top line gross revenue. So she went to networking events. She poured money into conferences. She poured money into her website and marketing and consultants and building a team and systems, right? She poured money into her business because her mindset shifted that she could. Now, once she had created the foundation of that, and she was starting to ride a wave of referrals and business growth, she restructured her goal. She said, okay, now my goal is to become more profitable. I'm ready to take home more money. And she made those shifts in her business. She re-simplified, she cut expenses, she only did the events that she made money from, and she changed in the season of her business. But all because of the mindset shift. If she never shifted her mindset, she was considered herself a freelancer at the time. And she was debating whether or not she should go back to work for somebody else. And because she knew her numbers, she shifted from freelancer to like, I own a business and I am hiring other consultants and I am running a business. And now we've watched her buy a house and grow her team and go through this really amazing journey.
That's such an interesting perspective because I feel like a lot of the messages out there are like, change your mindset first and then look at stuff. It's like that looking at her numbers with you actually changed the mindset for her to move forward. So sometimes it's like, yeah, looking at the facts or having an expert like you who can tell somebody the facts in a way that they understand is what changes the mindset. And I've always kind of struggled with this in like the personal growth space where it's like, yeah, but sometimes just sitting in a room changing your mindset does not work for me. Like I need something more tangible. And I think that's such a great example of how that tangibility can actually be the thing that does change your mindset for good reason.
That's usually the biggest reason why people stay unorganized. We hear a lot of stories, right? I'm not good with money, right? I've never been good with money, right? That's why I'm in debt. That's why I don't own my home. That's why my husband manages the finances. I'm not good with money. And so we've told ourselves a story and because of that story, we use it as an excuse. I'm sorry, guys, but we use it as an excuse to stay unorganized. We don't have to look at our numbers because we're not a numbers person, right? We've made that right? So now I have an excuse. It's like saying, I'm not a runner, so I don't need to go work out today, right? It's the same thing. So you've identified as this person, and so you're avoiding all of it. And so sometimes when I talk about mindset, I feel a little woo-woo because I came from a corporate world where it was pretty black and white, right? We made decisions with numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for us to recognize as business owners that really what's keeping us from getting our shit together is ourselves and the stories we're telling ourselves.
Thank you for tuning in to Self-Helpless. You can find our brand new merch, Patreon community, and other fun goodies at selfhelplesspodcast.com. We'd be thrilled if you left an Apple Podcast review, shared this episode with a friend, or post about it on Instagram and tag us at Self-Helpless Podcast so we could repost you and say hi. As an independently produced show, we sincerely appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody.